I'll call the meeting to order. Would you please stand and salute the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Welcome to the meeting. Two items on the agenda are going to be removed. That is item number 8 and item number 16.
What was the first one again?
8 and 16 are gone. So the next thing is the approval of minutes for the last meeting.
Does you want to get a motion to remove those two items?
Sure. All those in favor of removing the two items?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Oh, there's a motion. I'm just going too fast. So Chris made, no, Kent made a motion. Chris seconded it. And all those in favor of removing the two items?
I'm in.
How is Dan? Is that better?
Yes, it almost sounds like there's a little bit of an echo. Maybe it's just the acoustics. Maybe if you get some soundproofing squares and put them on the wall, that might help.
Okay,
You sound good right now.
good. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is the approval of minutes for August 25th. Motion.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of August 25th as written.
Second.
So there's a motion by Chris, second by Ken to approve the minutes of August 25th. All those in favor?
I can't vote.
And you missed the meeting. Okay. So Libby, I guess.
Libby is going to watch this on YouTube.
Okay. Well.
Welcome to the 21st century.
Next thing on the agenda, department reports, and Kevin, do you want to go, Chief?
Hello, good evening. I've only got a couple of things. First, on Monday, the lights that go around the speed signs, the flashing lights, those did arrive and they've been taken up to the highway department. Dan's probably going to talk about the 9/11 road closure, but just to let you know, and so it gets out there, that's going to be closed for about 45 minutes from basically Pleasant Street to Blue Road-ish in that area. And also I see it's on the agenda too, so I'll just talk real briefly about the Apple Fest. That is going to be closed as well, and that's going to be from Pleasant Street to Maple Street for the day, essentially 7 to 4, I think it is. And that's all I really have. So are there any questions? Good, thanks.
Here. Dan?
Yeah, good evening.
Hi.
So yeah, as Kevin said, we're going to be having our 9/11 event this Saturday. It's our first time ever doing this. It's also the 20th anniversary of 9/11. So it's a pretty good one to attend if you can. We've got several things lined up during that 45-minute time frame. And just a couple of highlights from that would be we're going to have ringing of the bell during the collapse of the towers, the north and south towers. So the exact timing for when those collapse, we're going to have the ringing of the bells that's consistent with the line of duty death of firefighters. So it's three times 5, so it'll be 15 rings of the bell. Will be done right at the front of our center station. We're also going to have a visit by the Corps Highlanders. That's the drummers and bagpipers. They're going to do Amazing Grace for us towards the end of the event. So looking forward to that. If you've never heard bagpipes, it's pretty moving. So looking forward to it. And again, I'll probably be the guest speaker talking about the event and the anniversary. And then we're also going to have our piece of steel that we acquired last fall on display. And then we'll have an unveiling of what the new monument design is going to be constructed in the future. So should be a pretty fun time. We're going to shut down the road completely just to make it safe for everybody. Chief Mulhern is going to be assisting us, as well as a few volunteers from the fire department, to shut down the road and make it safe and quiet at the front of the station so that we can have our event. So hopefully a lot of people from town will be able to join us in that ceremony. And then from this point forward, once the memorial is constructed, we're hoping to make this an annual event to remembrance of 9/11. Call volume wise, we're up to about 85 calls this year. We've had quite an uptick in vehicle crashes the past several weeks. We also had a couple close call structure fires involving manufactured dwellings up in North Monmouth. Fortunately, both very little damage. So both were caught by homeowners, so that was good. As Chief Mulhern said, September 25th will be the Apple Fest festivities, but also the Apple Fest 5K race. So the fire department will be assisting in that regard as well. Also that day, we're going to be doing our annual hose testing. I put that in my monthly report to you guys that we test about 13,000 feet of hose every year. And by us doing it, we're saving the town, several $1,000s from having to hire an outside company to do it, which more and more fire departments are starting to do. But we continue to do it ourselves because we like the hard work. So, but it's good for us to practice and do it and make sure everything gets packed back right by our own members. And that will be up at the Bates Manufacturing parking lot. So if you see trucks over there, it's not a fire. We're just doing our annual hose testing. Tomorrow evening, we're going to have that guest speaker at the fire station from Rutgers University or Rutgers Health Institute or something out of New Jersey. Dr. Judith Grabber. She'll be doing a 20-minute presentation on a cancer study that we're going to be participating in. So looking forward to her presentation. And again, about a month from now, we'll be doing the tests, the first round of tests. So I'll keep you guys apprised of those results and how that all turns out. And then the last thing I got is on October 3rd. So we're going to be having the fall harvest sale. That's our annual fall harvest fundraiser for raising money for our scholarship funds. And last year we did it at Highmore Farm and it was a big hit. So we're going to try that again this year, having families and children go up to Highmore Farm to pick pumpkins and apples, and we'll have food as well, a barbecue, and hopefully people will be able to come out and support that cause. That's all I got, unless there's any questions.
Dan, remind what the time is for the 9/11 event?
Yes, thank you. So 9:45 to 10:30. We'll probably get started right about 9:50-ish and wrap up. 10:28 was when the collapse of the North Tower was. So shortly thereafter, a few minutes after that, we'll wrap up.
Dan, what's the time for the October 3rd?
Great question. I'm going off memory. I think it's 9 to 2.
9 to 2?
So go with that and we'll make it happen.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Keith's no.
Unless you have a question.
Okay.
He's here for paving.
I'll ask him a question. So now you have what's your time frame on installing the speed signs?
Good question. Just gotta get with Kevin and point them out where it is and where they're going and have Dick safe it. And there should be no problem. after that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
I was standing across from Everett's house yesterday, and that's quite an adventure right at that
Yeah,
spot. So
right.
especially trying to cross back and forth there. It's an adventure.
When do you start doing the sand pot?
To middle of October.
Okay, so it's a ways away.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Linda.
Just a couple things. For weeks, it feels like I've been saying, we'll be at the meeting room, we'll be at the meeting room. We're here. We are at the meeting room at 117 Academy Road, which is the way we're promoting this building for a while until people get used to having all the town meetings here. And then I'm sure everyone's just gonna drop it and call it the meeting room, and then everyone will know where it is. It's still a little bit of a work in progress. We'll have a main flag at the next meeting. We'll have some pictures on the walls. We're going to take some of the ones that we had in the academy and put them over here in the old library. We will have a lectern. We do have an X marks the spot right now for anyone who speaks. And the reason we did that was so the people at home watching will be able to see who the speakers are. So if anyone wants to speak, if they come up and stand by the X, that would be great. The other reason the chairs are pushed back a little bit is to give people a little bit of space up there. And also so that the people sitting in the front row are not seeing the back of their heads by people at home. So it's a work in progress, and we'll, see how things go meeting to meeting, and hopefully sound and picture is really good. But we're excited to be up here. The planning board will be here tomorrow night. Comprehensive plan will be here next week, and all boards and committees from now on will be meeting in this space. Dennis has been a wonderful host at Cumston, but he and Julie are happy to get our meetings out of their building. The other thing about the planning board meetings, they have been on Zoom, but we haven't been recording them and putting them on the YouTube station so that people can watch them later. That will be starting after this next meeting. We'll be setting up the Zoom meetings so that they can then be uploaded to our YouTube station. So if anyone misses the planning board meeting and they want to watch it later, they'll be able to go on the YouTube station and watch it just as they watch select board meetings. And finally, I was waiting to get the word on our ARPA funds, and finally found out that I could go in and do the final paperwork on the state website today. So we're in, we've made the request to be about $250,000, $256,000 that we'll be getting to probably just sit in our account for a while until we figure out how we're going to be able to use it.
Thank you. Any questions for?
Linda, could you refresh my memory what sort of strings are attached or direction the ARPA funds are intended to be for?
They have a lot of strings attached. That's why it's questionable whether we'll be able to use it until some of those strings are maybe loosened up down the road.
Yeah.
They are for water and sewer infrastructure. So water pipes, sewer pipes, we don't own that in Monmouth, so we can't use it for that. You can use it for broadband expansion, but because the governor has also made broadband expansion a priority for the state, and the state is in the process of mapping the entire state, they're advising the municipalities to hold off on using the money for that. We can use it for some other things like paying hazard pay for all the employees who worked through COVID. That'll be a decision of the select board. Once the money is here, we'll have a work session to talk about some of those restrictions. We don't have to use the money for, I think it's 3 years, possibly 4. But so they're recommending that we just be patient and sit on it. I think that eventually they're going to loosen up some of the restrictions and let us use it for some other things, other infrastructure things like maybe roads and bridges, but we'll see. I'll have to wait and find out.
All good?
Okay. Next thing on the agenda are select board reports. Nothing.
Thanks for me.
I got crickets.
Okay. You want to talk about that?
No.
We can maybe do some council. Okay. Next is public comment. No public comment. Any public comment out there? Zoom land. Okay, there's no public comment, so next is to approve the closure of Main Street for Apple Fest.
In your packet, you have a request to close Main Street on September 25th from 7 a.m. to 3:30 for Apple Fest. This didn't get held last year because of COVID, and I think that they're excited to get this one going this year. I have worked with Chief Mulheron. He's notified the Maine Department of Transportation of the event, and this is ready for your approval.
I make a motion for approving the closure of Main Street on September 25th for Apple Fest.
Second. So it was a motion by Chris, second by Harold to approve the closure of Main Street for Apple Fest. All those in favor? Thank you. Next is to appoint Benjamin Dyer to the Board of Appeals.
In your packet is an application from Benjamin Dyer to be appointed to the Board of Appeals, and his term would expire July 31st, 2024.
Motion.
I'll make a motion to appoint Benjamin Dyer to the Board of Appeals.
I'll second.
So Ken has made a motion and Chris has seconded to appoint Benjamin Dyer to the Board of Appeals. All those in favor? And next is to authorize the town manager to sign an agreement with Pine Tree Engineering for Main Street, for the Main Street Sidewalk Project.
As the board will remember, in June, the voters approved a project for Main Street down through our downtown for sidewalks. And we've been working with Pine Tree Engineering. He drafted the plans and presented them prior to us sending it out on the ballot with ornamental lighting. And we'd like to have your approval to work with Pine Tree Engineering to complete the project. As you know, Pine Tree Engineering is doing the sidewalk projects on Beach, hopefully Maple at some point, and North Main Street. This is going to tie in nicely with that project.
Will the overhead wires be moved or they be left up there?
That I don't know.
What specifically are you asking about?
I think the telephone poles are so close, the sidewalk that's on the side of Compton, those telephone poles are, make the sidewalk about this wide. I mean, not only because it's in horrible shape, but where the telephone poles are, it's almost impossible to walk on that sidewalk there. So I think that's what you're referring to, whether or not they're moving those telephone poles back or they're staying where they are and we're moving the sidewalk into the breakdown lane more. So.
And when you get down to the ornamental lighting,
Yeah.
to have those kind of fancy lights and then have, a lot of wires.
Yeah.
So you're not talking about moving poles back, you're asking if they're gonna bury it and go underground.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's probably not a realistic scenario because of the expense.
Right.
You have to have a vault on either end and risers and it's a very expensive proposition. There'd have to be a need. Other than, in order for the power company to do that, they would have to have a need to do it. In order to spend their money to do it. I mean, you could probably ask them if you wanted to spend our money to do it, they probably would look into that, but.
What is Winthrop has? They've done away with their
Yeah,
overhead wires.
yeah.
I don't know, at some point we'll have all the designs and we'll have a public meeting for everyone who's concerned, and Rob will be there and you can ask those questions, but I suspect that Harold's right. That was not added into the cost of doing this project.
Someone can contact CMB and ask them about it and get their official word on it. Then you'll have it.
Is there a time frame
No.
for this project?
No, right now we're finishing up North Main Street and Beach. Maple has been a problem because DOT wants us to do some catch basin work there that we're kind of arguing with them that we don't think we should have to do. So, and we're working with them, but DOT will have to be involved in anything that happens downtown. So this isn't happening this year.
So it's sort of preliminary conceptual stuff that we're asking him to start.
Exactly, and the engineering stuff starts way before the project does. So in order to be able to work with Rob and have him do his work, I need your approval to sign the agreement.
So need a motion.
I'll make a motion to authorize the town manager to sign an agreement with Pine Tree Engineering for the Main Street Sidewalk Project.
I'll second.
So the motion by Ken, second by Chris to authorize the town manager to sign an agreement with Pine Tree Engineering for the Main Street Sidewalk Project. All those in favor? Thank you. Next is to award a bid for the sale of a compacting trailer.
We had a trailer from the transfer station, the Keith felt and the crew felt that we no longer needed. It's a 1996 Accurate 7500 series compacting trailer. We had one bid, and that was from the town of Bar Harbor in the amount of $6,000. And we're asking for approval for me to do a bill of sale to the town of Bar Harbor for the trailer.
I move we approve the sale of the compacted trailer to Bar Harbor for $6,000.
No second.
So the motion by Harold, second by Chris to approve the award of a bid for the sale of the compacting trailer. All those in favor? Thank you. Next is to award the bid for the paving of town roads.
We advertised for bids for paving, and we received 3 from all states, from St. Laurent, and from Pike. All states came in the lowest at $174,500. You do not have this information in your packet because the bids were opened yesterday, but we wanted to make sure that we had a placeholder on the agenda so that we could get this work going. And so we're asking for the authority to, or asking you to award the bid to all states. And in case you have any questions, all states is here, as is our Public Works Director.
So what roads are you planning?
Pine Hill. From 132 to the Derrick. And Warren Road. And a mile of Sanborn Road.
Which mile?
From obviously, and
Okay.
Not for-
132 and 135,
Oh.
excuse me.
135 in from the dam,
Yes.
essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's the total mileage together?
See, Warren Road's 1.3. Pine Hill is 0.7 and a mile for Sanborn, so probably like 3 miles.
Nice.
So it's 3 miles.
I can even do that now.
And so we've got 48 miles of road. And this year we can afford to pay 3 miles.
Right.
We actually have 56 miles of road.
Yeah.
48 paved road, I should say. Thank you. So that would mean we're gonna, at that rate, we would be paving each road every 16 years.
In the past, Herb always strove for about a 10 to 12 year cycle, so, but we lost some ground during 08, in the recovery period from 08. And now we are in danger of losing some more ground just because we don't know where we're gonna be. So I think to be able to get, basically we're getting 2/3, a half to 2/3 of what we need to do done. Right,
Yeah.
somewhere in that neighborhood. And so hopefully in the next year or two, maybe we could even use some of those funds if the strings get loosened up to gain some of that ground back. But I think you've got the right approach, and that's hit the ones that are the worst shape, get them done. And then, I don't know, I know we've sealed some roads in the past. Is there any plan to do any of that at all? Or
No, not of that actually.
they sealed a bridge one time and it helped
Yeah,
keep the pavement from deteriorating.
Filson Road would be a good candidate for that.
Yeah, so there's something to think about.
So Warren Road, is that essentially from 132 to the Wales line? Is
Yes, it is.
that whole stretch?
Yep.
Because I've never mapped. So
Yep.
it's not that far, but in Pine Hill, is that going to be up until the really bad part? Or where you've
It's
worked
all
already,
just
or?
a hot top, but
Oh, the part
It's
that's
there
already
now.
hot top now?
Right.
Okay, all right,
right.
okay, all right. Got it.
What's that?
Move we award the bid for paving the identified roads to Allstate.
One second.
So the motion by Harold, second by Chris to award the bid for paving town roads to all states for $174,500. All those in favor? Thank you. Next is to award the bid for playground equipment at the beach.
As you will remember, the voters approved a playground at the beach on the June warrant. And for $30,000 and no more, and for a specific footprint down there. So we put together an RFP, I borrowed one from another community, tweaked it for Monmouth, ran it by the Recreation Commission and the rec director. And we put that out, we advertised it, we also, I sent it out to several playground companies in the area. We received one bid, and that was for the $30,000, but it will go into the footprint that we're requesting. And this would award the bid to Maine Recreation and Design for $30,000. This won't be installed until next spring. You have to wait until after the ground thaws. And there's a backlog right now on ordering these and getting them in. So we'll probably order by the end of the year in order to have it here in time.
Did this vary a lot from what they were originally wanting? I mean, what he came up with for, I'm just trying to remember what the rec committee was wanting and what they were able to afford to put in there for $30,000.
My memory was that they basically wanted to replace the swings and then to have some kind of gym type area for kids to climb on, to slide on, things to tactile things for younger kids. And I ran this by Lisa Hash and she chose the design. We had two designs to choose from. This was a little bit more elaborate, offered a little bit more for the kids. So I think they're getting a good playground for the small space that they're going to be able to put it in.
And it's not going to tie up public works with doing the site work, the playground company is doing the same.
No, everything should be done by them. We're not going to do drainage to start. We don't think that we'll need to do that. Make playground all in and then just see how that goes. And then if we have to do some drainage, then that may be something where Public Works has to come in and do some stuff, but.
And they remove the old stuff and get rid of all the old stuff as part of that bid.
No, it will be removed. Sawzall. No, in talking to Lisa about the swing set, she thinks that it's possible that that swing set might be of use to someone else who might want it. So we might want to think about, but I don't know once you go to take it down, whether it's going to fall apart, because it's been there a long time.
Yeah.
But it's a possibility.
Okay, so get a motion.
I'll make a motion to award the bid for the playground equipment at the beach to Maine Recreation and Design for $30,000.
Second.
So Chris made a motion and Harold seconded it to award the bid for the playground at the beach to Maine Recreation and Design for $30,000. All those in favor? Thank you. Next is to determine details of the bond for the former Monmouth Academy renovation and authorizing a treasurer and select board chair to sign.
Another voter approved article on the warrant in June was the renovation of the 1856 portion of the former Monmouth Academy, and to borrow up to $1.5 million to pay for the cost of that renovation. All that this does is sets the details of the bonds that we'll be borrowing, making sure that we're not making them taxable and keeping the town out of trouble with legal authorities in the IRS. We will borrow the 1.5 million, but we're only going to do a draw for the first 90 days. We're not going to take the full 1.5 million up front. So we won't be paying interest on the full 1.5 right off the bat. But we do have some expenses that we're starting to incur toward the project. And so we want to be able to draw on that money for the next 90 days. This just gives the chairman of the board and the treasurer me the ability to sign the documents and get them back to bond council.
So I make a motion to authorize the treasurer and select board chair to sign for the details of the bond, the former academy renovation.
I'll second.
So Chris has made a motion and Ken has signed, seconded it to approve to authorize the treasurer and select board chair to sign the details of the bond for the former Monmouth Academy renovation. All those in favor? Thank you. Next is just the sale of foreclosed property to a former owner.
Denise Whitmore has approached us and asked to do an abatement on some taxes, but in order to do that, she has to own the property. The property is in foreclosure, and you'll remember when we met with our attorney a few months ago to talk about the status of foreclosed property. Once it's been foreclosed, the lien process has been perfected and is foreclosed at the registry. The owner no longer owns it, the town does. And so in order to do any kind of tax abatement on the property, the owner needs to purchase the property back. Denise Whitmore is asking if she can please repurchase her property, and the amount would be $979.44. She's asking that the board waive the fees and interest, which you are by law allowed to do. And this will get her back to a place where her taxes are all paid up. She has a homestead exemption on the property that from going forward will cover her. In fact, she doesn't owe any current taxes because the homestead exemption is higher than the amount of her taxes. So she will not fall into this situation again. So we're asking for your permission to waive the fees and interest and allow her to buy the property back for $979.44.
Do you have a sense of how much the fees and interests currently are?
If she had to pay the entire thing, it would be over $1,600. And she is on Social Security, that's her sole income.
So we're basically waiving $700.
Yeah.
Something like that. I move that we waive the fees and penalties and proceed with the sale of foreclosed property to the former owner.
I second.
Okay, so Harold has made a motion, Ken has seconded it to approve the sale of foreclosed property back to the former owner for $979.44. All those in favor? Thank you. And next is a request to abate uncollectible taxes.
Some of you will remember that we've been here before. This is Tim Garrity of G&G Associates, who owns a couple of mobile home parks in town. And from time to time, his tenants leave the mobile home behind, and he's unable to collect his lot rent. We're unable to collect our taxes. In this situation, the former owner has passed away, and the sister was the executrix of the estate. The estate has been exhausted financially. There's about $199.09 that are left owing on the property. The quirky part about mobile homes is that in order for him to be able to move the mobile home over town roads, he has to have a form signed off by me saying that the taxes are current. And I can't do that without the select board waiving the taxes or the taxes being paid by the property owner. The other little quirky part of this is that I'm supposed to tell you, sign under oath, that I've tried to collect these taxes for 2 years and I can't collect them, but they haven't been due for that long. This is a different situation where the former property owner is deceased. We're not going to be able to collect these taxes, so I'm asking that you abate the taxes for $199.09.
Sorry.
And possibly there may be a little bit more interest by the time we abate them.
I make a motion to abate these
No, second.
So there's a motion by Ken, second by Chris to abate the uncollectible taxes. All those in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
And next is warrant number 5.
Items over $1,000, Axon Enterprises. This is for taser, cartridge, and holster, $1,173.82. Bernstein, Suresauter, Nelson, this is our monthly retainer fee, $1,041.66. Blue Rock Earthworks Incorporated for solid waste trips, $3,630. Dennis K. Burke for diesel fuel, $5,947.38. Eco Maine for recycling, $2,579.81. Thermal Industries, bulk waste and demo removal, $2,954.88. K&K Systems Incorporated for speed limit signs, $2,234.62. Pine Tree Engineering, this is for engineering work for Beach, Maple, and North Main sidewalks, $2,550. Purchase Power for postage, $2,041.98. Regional School Unit 2, this is our monthly payment, $449,225.24. Time Warner Cable for internet for the town buildings, $1,245.35. Treasurer, State of Maine for motor vehicle plates, fees, titles, $4,705.48 and $6,002.15. Treasurer, State of Maine for inland fisheries and wildlife, $1,218.56. WatchGuard Video for police camera, transmitter, and cable, $1,638.50. And Wright Pierce for engineering services for Wilson Pond Culvert, $1,800.10.
And motion to approve warrant number 5.
So Chris made a motion, Harold seconded it to approve warrant number 5. All those in favor? Thank you.
We adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
What time?
6:38.
later.
Can we
Were you folks here to